this is Rochelle Edrington, the founder of VPro Marketing and Sales, here to help you to master marketing, strengthen sales, so you can leave a legacy. Today, I want to talk to you about how to sell your services. Let's chat. Before you try to identify how can I sell more, you have to change your mentality, your mindset, as it relates to sales. If you feel like sales is like a icky word, I need you to pause the video, grab a sheet of paper, and just do a brain dump of why I think sales is hard, or sales is icky, or sales people are con artists. Whatever it is that you think, I want you to jot all of those reasonings, the things that come to your mind, get it out of your brain, get out of your head. The reason why that is important because you have to overcome that. Listen, 10 plus years ago, when I first got into sales, that was not my intention. I went to school for marketing. I wanted to get in marketing. But in order to get a marketing job, I had to have sales experience. It's not until now that I'm on the other side that I realize why, right? The only way you can market yourself or market a product or market yourself or your service, you have to learn how to sell. There's basic foundational things that comes with sales that you have to understand and implement naturally in order for you to market something. I'm gonna teach you some foundational principles. It's called impact selling, a technique that I learned when I first learned how to sell, okay? But ultimately, you have to get over that mindset. See, for me, I did not want to become a salesperson. I didn't want to become a salesperson because the salespeople I met were con artists. I feel like they were only there to take. In order for me to overcome that, I realized that I create my lane. I create my destiny, right? So I realized, like, hey, I can change the game. I could be that salesperson that people don't even realize that's a salesperson unless I tell you, or you don't know that I'm selling because I'm not utilizing that, the age-old tactics that people are using, right? I'm not selling just for my gain. So for me, I became mentally a consultant. Right? I wanted to learn how can I become like that matchmaker? Like, I figure out what your problem is, and if I have the solution, I then tell you how my solution works. But if I didn't have the solution, possibly I can connect you with additional resources. So for me, I decided to become a consultant. I want to teach you some basic steps on how you can kind of adopt like a sales consultant mentality when you're trying to sell almost anything, especially when you're selling services. So as I mentioned earlier, I first learned how to sell by using a methodology called impact selling. Impact is simply an acronym. So we're going to go through each. I'm going to share with you the way I understand it, the way I apply it, and the way it has helped me. The very first letter is I, investigate. All investigate is talking about that you need to do some research on who you're trying to connect with. You need to know something outside of just their name. Because one of the things when you're starting to sell, you need to find a commonality. You need to be able to identify some things about them because it shows that you care when you actually take your time to learn something about your ideal client or your prospective client, right? It's easier to have a genuine and authentic conversation when you know something about them. So investigate. Take some time, do a little bit of research to learn something about the individual or the group of individuals that you're trying to connect with. M, meet. Meet is all about how do you introduce yourself, taking the time to introduce yourself to your prospective buyer. And there's a lot of different ways you can do that, whether it be online or in person. And that will be a whole nother video for another day. You need to meet and introduce yourself in a way where it can start a conversation. P, probe. Probe is all about asking questions. When you're in that conversation, you need to ask the most important questions that help you to identify what is that person's pain point, what is their challenge, or what are they looking for? Because then it's going to help you to make it an easier transition into the next step. A, apply. At this stage, you have already asked the right questions, got some insight on what that person may need. Now, while you're asking those questions, you should already know if what you're selling, it's a good fit for them. And if you find that it's a good fit for them, the apply stage is going to be so easy. Apply is showing your prospective client how your solution is the best solution for their problem. That's why I said in the beginning, to me, sales is all about being a matchmaker, finding a problem, figure out what they want. And then if through that conversation, you realize that they're saying everything that your product or your service can offer, right? You are right in the money. C, convince. Now, this is the stage that most people get very discouraged. They say, listen, I did my research. I'm having this conversation. I met the person. I'm asking questions. And when that person doesn't automatically say, hey, this is what I've been waiting for, they instead say, well, let me think about it. Or I'm not sure. Can I call you later? Or I don't have the money for that. Or that's too expensive, right? So this stage is also known as objections, right? The convince stage is your opportunity to kind of take it up a notch. You need to start to ask more questions about whatever it is that they're saying that is not moving them to the buy stage. If they have an objection or they have a concern, you take one step back to the probe stage and start asking more questions. So if they say, I don't, that's too expensive, you ask questions about that. T, this is the money making stage. You tie it up. Tie it up means you ask for the sale. One of my biggest recommendations for any newbie or anyone that's trying to get better at selling is you need to have some tie it up phrases on deck, or in your pocket, in your toolkit. You might hear someone say, when do you want to start? Do you want to start today or do you want to start on Friday? That's a close. That's a tie it up, so a close that you use in the tie it up stage. So you have to ask for the business. If you really commit to overcoming that being a salesperson is not icky, right? And then you truly learn the impact selling stages and apply it. Listen, when you try it, it's going to feel weird. Anything new is weird, right? But when you do it and do it over and over and over, ask some of your friends, your closest business friends to role play with you, okay? You want to do it until it feels natural. But I promise you, if you keep doing it over and over and over again, you are going to get good. You need to identify what is the benefit of your service. And whatever that benefit is, that's what you're selling. So I hope the information I shared with you today will inspire you to transform something in your business. All right? Sales is not icky. Overcome that mentality and employ impact selling in what you're doing, and you will be great. As I always say, let's continue to grow.